Hey, it's Melissa. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my painting studio. This is my sanctuary. This is actually where I came to get over the discard that I felt. So you're probably wondering, how do you get over discard? I mean, it's such a horrific place to be. And the sad part about it is once your abuser is gone, they might be gone physically, but they're not gone mentally. And you may have recovered from the physical scars if you were in an abusive, domestic abusive relationship, but the mental scars, the emotional scars, how in the world do you get past that? Because you are alone with your mind. And we all know the mind can either be very dangerous or it can be very powerful. So when you're sitting there wondering, how am I going to get over the discard? How am I going to be able to operate like a normal human being and not be so bitter and angry? I know with myself, I beat myself up for, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I recognize these red flags? How could I be so stupid? How did I let this happen to me? What am I gonna do now? So I was angry, I was bitter, I was hurt, I was destroyed in a lot of ways, but my mind was controlling everything. So when you are at the crossroads and you are discarded and you're alone with only yourself, what are you gonna do? You're at the fork. So you can either choose a path of self-destruction or you can choose a path of self-love and healing. We all know the path we want to choose, but it is so easy to go down this path, but you're only hurting yourself. So when I thought, I'm messing up at work, no one wants to be around me because I'm constantly negative, complaining over and over, going through all these horrific things in my head. People that haven't gone through abuse don't understand it. And a lot of times I know you feel the same way I felt. No one cares. No one wants to hear anything you have to say. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get control of my mind. I am going to get control of my attitude, of my outlook on things, and I have got to walk away from those cancerous thoughts. So I thought, you know, I could meditate. I'd never meditated before. I had no idea how to meditate. And until you learn how to meditate, it's not that easy. But what I decided to do is go back to something that I was so passionate about, that brought me peace and tranquility. That is the place I needed my mind to be in order for me to choose the path of self-love and healing. And to me, that was painting. I had not painted for years and years, but I remembered how much I loved it. When I was going through my abuse, I didn't have time to paint. I couldn't think about painting, nor could I take the time to paint without my ex-narc constantly being in my way, in my mind, in my face, and everything. You guys know what I'm talking about. So now that I was by myself, I came down to my studio. It didn't look like this when I first started. In fact, it was completely plain blank walls. And when I look back to the paintings I started, they're pretty scary. I'm critical of myself. But even then, I sat down here for hours just looking at the canvases and thinking about, what could I paint? What is going to bring me joy? If anyone knows me, they know I love dragonflies. So I wasn't really good at painting dragonflies, but I love to paint them. So I just started painting. And before I knew it, when I looked at the clock, I had been in this painting studio for hours. And do you know what I didn't do in those hours? I didn't think about my abuser. I didn't beat myself up for not seeing the red flags. I didn't feel bitterness. I felt joy and tranquility. And it was the most peaceful feeling that I can describe. So think about exploring what made you happy before you met your narc. What was it? What was it? Painting? Was it singing? Was it writing? Was it hiking? Was it jogging? Things that you had to give up because there was no room for your happiness and your narc. We know that. So think back. What is it? Think into your mind, what brought you joy, peace, and tranquility? That is where you have to go back to. That's where you have to choose to put your mind. Because when your mind goes into that calm place, it finally starts overpowering the negative, the bitterness. And you realize, you know what? The only person suffering through all of that is you. Because I can promise you, your ex-narc is not thinking about you. They're not losing 1 ounce of sleep. So why should you? Why should you spend all this time wasting your future, your journey, your life, your happiness, your freedom, worried about the person who took it all away from you, who tried to destroy you? This is your time now. You own your time. So please, this is what I teach in Module 6 of my course. The Victim to Warrior Method is in the link below if you want to take a look at it. I cover a lot of things, everything to do to rebuild, rebound, and reclaim your life after narcissistic abuse. What else you'll find in Module 6 when you're rediscovering your inner passion is how to meditate. I talked about it a little while ago because it just doesn't come that easy. But we go into great detail of how to do it, especially if your mind during the day starts wandering into those negative, bitter places, and maybe you don't have time to do your inner passion. I can't just stop what I'm doing in the middle of the day and start painting, but what I can do is quiet my mind. In Module 6, we go over simple ways in order to start meditating, so it can clear the negativity out of your mind. And you might need to do that a couple times during the day. And you can meditate for 3, 4, 5 minutes and just clear out those negative things so you can get back to your path of joy and self-love and self-healing. So check out Module 6. It goes over everything that we talk about in there. We have some great websites. We also bring in some yoga, which yoga is also a great way to quiet the mind. But in this particular module, I challenge you. Find something that brought you inner joy and peace and go back to it. You're going to be surprised at how powerful your mind can be when you start putting energy that's positive and pleasant and beautiful back into your body, and you get rid of all those negative thoughts. Eventually, the positive is going to overtake the negative. And you're not going to think about going down that path of self-destruction because you will already be on the journey and the path to healing, self-love, and a life of happiness and freedom. And I want that for you. So remember, we can all go from being a victim to a warrior by taking the first step. And I implore you to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed this,